Welcome back to Moms on a Mission. Today, me and Laura are going to talk to Cyndy Holland. We are anticipating an awesome conversation because we're going to be talking to Cyndy about it sounds like she has an incredible testimony. We're going to be talking forgiveness. We're going to be talking some childhood stuff. And so we're just going to hop right in. And I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I know we've tried to be at this for a couple weeks.
I feel like we've been trying to do this for like 6 months.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate, honestly.
Okay. You got to scoot up though, sister.
We can hear you.
We can't hear your voice. There you go. All right, there you go.
And man, what a ride the last 6 months has been. Specifically, you and I with the boys through school into summer. We're totally pivoting and doing a new thing with the boys, school-wise.
We're doing a new thing.
Love
it.
And so this is one of my closest friends.
Okay.
And I'm just so glad that you're here. I think that we have bonded so quickly and over so many things. We just share a bunch of instances and situations and stuff growing up that are very parallel.
Yes.
We didn't know that until we started hanging out more and bringing the boys together for school project, I think was the first thing that we did.
Yeah, their cell project.
Yes.
Yep.
A cell project?
A cell project.
Those are always interesting.
Yeah, they had to build one out of like
cake
and Jell-O and jelly beans.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was edible.
It was disgusting.
So you guys did the project and the boys played and no,
the boys really did do the project. I was so proud of them. I did bake the cake.
Yes.
That was it.
But yeah, they did everything else. Did their key and everything. But it was, do you remember, this is off topic, but do you remember that Selena was like,
you guys weren't supposed to do that together.
Yeah, and I was like...
Oh, they weren't supposed to partner up?
Apparently not, but nobody knew that. It's not like the boys came together and did one project and turned it in.
Yeah, they did their separate.
They each did their own, and they were not even similar. So
I don't even think they did
know
the
what
same
the problem
thing.
was.
But anyways, it was just kind of like, I think that was like that little bump in the road, and I was like, I guess, sorry for doing that.
Yeah. Sorry your kid got a B. Mine did too.
Yeah,
they might have gotten an A if we'd have done it at separate houses.
I don't know. I remember sending a whole email about like what we did and didn't do.
Right.
Like we didn't do it for them.
Yeah.
No.
So a little bit of chaos brought you guys together as friends.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Yep. There was that, and then just
I remember the very first time I remember meeting you was you were doing pictures at the school, and I just remember Josh. You were just like pointing and just telling him where everything needed to go. And he was just your little pack mule.
Yep.
And I just remember thinking, wow, they are just such a well-oiled machine. This is the kind of gal I want to get to know.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we did.
We've been at it.
That's
and
awesome.
now we did miss out on the first season of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Maddox was not up for trying something new
Yeah.
that year. But I think Walker probably had a lot to do with why he wanted to play last year.
Maybe.
Because they got closer. And I was like, I mean, Walker's going to play basketball. You might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, so your boys are good buddies, and you guys have become good buddies, too. How many kiddos do you have?
I have 4.
4 kiddos?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Destiny's almost 25, and lives in Denver with her husband.
Awesome.
And then Dominic is fixing to get married. He's almost 23. He's fixing to get married. And then Dakota will be 21 in October, and he is married with a baby.
Oh,
My very first grandbaby. Shout out to Lydia.
awesome.
And then my youngest is Walker, who's Maddox's buddy.
So there's a big age gap there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was that a surprise?
No.
No? Okay.
Walker's an in vitro baby.
Oh.
So we did every step of that on purpose. 100% on
Awesome.
purpose.
Okay.
And I'm so glad.
Me too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Walker's brilliant. Because he skipped fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And joined Maddox in 6th grade at Trinity, like halfway through the school year.
It was
wow.
September. So he had been in 5th grade for like a month when
Is
they
that it?
tested him. Yeah, it hadn't been very long.
I thought it was like at Christmas break.
How do you make that kind of decision to
The school actually came to me and said, look, I think maturity-wise, we know Walker's ready to move forward. Let's just check and see academically if he could handle it. And ran some tests and bumped him up the next Monday.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Maddox was so excited. You know, that was a boy-heavy class.
Mm-hmm.
And but they were all small.
Yeah.
And so coming home, he was like, got another boy in the classroom. I
Awesome.
was like, awesome.
Those were small classes anyways at that school, right?
They were, I felt like that was one of the bigger classes
I think
though.
we had 9 or 10 in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double digits is like not a thing.
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. My kids are at public school and they have smaller class sizes there, but they're still in the 20s, you know,
Are they?
19, 20 kid, 21. Yeah.
Which I guess for you and I growing up in Gwinnett, that's still like
Yeah. Yeah. Those were
my
smaller
classes had like 32 kids in them.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
So
Well, very cool. So what do you work? Are you a stay-at-home mom? What do you?
No, my husband and I own Gold and Silver Exchange, which is
Oh,
a
okay.
gold buying business in Clarksville, and we rent U-Hauls.
Nice. Okay. So you guys are entrepreneurs. Awesome. Very
very
cool.
busy ones.
Very busy
at that.
ones. Yes.
Are there any other kind of entrepreneurs?
Probably not.
Not that we've come across.
No.
Well, very, very cool. So, I know I always say that I'm going to like step back and then I never step back. So I know you have things that you want to talk to her about and you want to ask questions. So I'm going to try to be quiet.
No, you're good. you're good. Which, you know, when we met and kind of kicked things off, you told me that you cheered at LSU.
Oh,
And
Go Tigers.
Yep, go Tigers. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was born in Louisiana, so like we had that connection,
Soul
and
sisters.
basically from there, it's just been a snowball effect
yeah.
of getting to know each other, becoming friends, and it's awesome to me to be able to have someone that also has a strong testimony, because there's nothing that you have ever said to me. Even as off the wall as it may have been, a personal experience, a thought, something that has ever made me go, I don't know if I can be friends with that. Like you have just been so raw and real and honest, and never passed judgment on it, because I have also been able to spout something back that was probably like equally as chaotic
Or would
like-
be cringy to somebody else who
hasn't
but
experienced
for
it.
me, I'm just like, oh no, that happened to you too.
Yeah,
Let's
you
pray
too?
about it.
Yep. And that's been one of the biggest things, like going to school last year, praying over the boys on the car rides in, if there was something coming up,
Oh,
a
how
test,
cool.
anything.
Yeah.
Like I knew we were going to talk on the phone in the morning on our drives to school.
7:30.
And generally they were going to cover a prayer if it was Monday, maybe for the week of whatever we had coming up, if for the day, if it was something specific, and just kind of stayed checked in with each other throughout the day, how it was going, reconvene at the end of the school days, talk to the boys. How do you think your test was or whatever? And so that was just neat to me because I was the newbie
Yeah.
at Trinity, and there were a couple people that I knew from the community. Tasha, I have known from real estate.
Yeah.
But you and I just clicked.
Yeah.
And, this train has been rolling for 2 years, 2.5 years
Awesome.
now, to the point that we're literally pulling our kids out of Trinity to do Liberty University's online academy. And just
So you're going to do that too. So they'll be able to go through schooling stuff together.
Yes.
Yep.
Very cool. That's very awesome.
now it took me a minute to get her on board.
It did. I am not, and I don't know if it's ADHD or if it's just my personality. I don't like when plans change. I don't like change. The only good change is a canceled plan.
Yeah.
That is okay with me. But to change something purposefully is just not something I generally do. So it took a lot of tooth pulling.
Yeah.
But
Well, cool.
it's
Well,
the
you guys will
right
be
decision.
It is.
You guys will be going through that together, and so will the boys.
Yeah.
So that'll be very cool.
Yep.
So she had mentioned testimony, and we talked a little bit about this before we got started. I would love to hear your testimony because it sounds very
amazing.
powerful.
It's amazing.
It's God. I was born in Texas to a Texas dad and a South Carolina mom, and they decided they weren't going to work out. And so when I was 4, they divorced. We moved to Colorado, and then we moved to Michigan, and then I've lived all over the United States.
Yeah.
And so I had this wonderful grandparents. My mom's parents are, man, when God was giving out grandparents, he was so nice to me. because they kept me grounded in church, even though I didn't know what I was being taught or what, they ensured that we were in a good Baptist church, that we were being fed the word, me and my little brother. And I will forever be grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I didn't understand what being saved meant. I didn't understand any of those things. Mom gets with my stepdad, who turns out to be a pedophile.
Mm.
Nobody knew that either. And so for 5 years, he molested me. And then when I was 2 weeks away from turning 10, I went to my mom and I was like, look, we need to talk, and I just hit the floor. I broke down. I told her everything that was happening. And my mom, well, obviously she was in shock, but she believed me.
Yeah.
Like there was never a second that she was like anything but supportive.
Right.
And so we went through 18 months of trial and counseling and doctors and
My word.
and all the awful things that go with pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's served 17 years in prison for what he did to me, and I'm grateful for that. I wished it would have been the full 25 years because I just think the maximum sentence on a crime like that is acceptable. But 17 was 17. I've never seen him again. I live down here. He still lives in Michigan. And I hated my mom from about 9 until about 25. Just could not get over the fact that she didn't know, could not get over the fact that she allowed it to happen. And after getting saved at 17, by 25, I think it took about 7 years for me to come to the realization that my mom was not the villain in my story. Mm-hmm. My mom was the advocate in my story. My mom is the one who said, no, you'll never touch another little girl again, and you're going to prison. And she ensured that happened.
Wow.
I'll forever be grateful to her for that. And I'll forever be sad over the years that I spent in anger with her, because it's time I can't get back.
Yeah.
So I went to a DC Talk concert at 17 in Denver, Colorado. Mm-hmm. And Toby Mac said, after he sang In the Light, that we should all pray and receive Jesus if we hadn't done that before.
Yeah.
And I did.
Okay, Toby.
And I meant it. And man, I don't even know how to explain the feeling from this crushed child who thinks she's only good for one thing, thinks the world only wants one thing out of her, thinks that knows that she's being manipulated by every person in her life, because that's the way my brain was trained to believe. Mm-hmm. To find freedom in Jesus was, wow.
Did you feel like this massive weight?
It was like the mask could come off.
Wow.
It was like I did not have to pretend that I was okay all the time. Mm-hmm. I could be broken, and Jesus was perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to have it all together. And for 17 years I had pretended that everything was wonderful and fine and good, mm-hmm. and it was not.
Yeah.
And then Jesus.
Mm.
Truly a peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yes.
That is very true.
And if because I have too, and I'm sure that you have, if you've experienced it, it's different. You cannot describe it.
It is different.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it, is simply a peace that you just cannot
that I had
understand.
never felt before, and I have never felt since.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not it's
not consistent.
It's a peace that carries that follows you around, that you do experience overall, but it's not like everything rolls off your shoulders mm-hmm. after you become, a truly understanding Christian. That's not it, but it does kind of follow you around, and there are moments where you're like, I don't get it, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, wow. So you had said something when we were talking before. You had said that I was leading people to Jesus before I actually really knew him.
I was going on mission trips. Like I said, my grandparents had me in church from 5. I mean, the church bus came, picked me and my little brother up, and dropped us back off every Sunday. And every Sunday I was at the altar going, Jesus, I really need you to save me. But I was asking him to save me from my stepdad. I wanted the abuse to stop. I wanted God to end him, or, whatever. Mm-hmm. However God was going to intervene, I just wanted that intervention.
Right.
And so every Sunday, my little 7-year-old self was at the altar just begging Jesus to come save me, begging and begging and begging. And eventually he did through my mom and the police and, everything like that. But that wasn't, I was just a confused kid that thought going to the altar and asking for salvation meant he was going to save me from every single thing I was going through. Because that's what the preachers preach. Come to Jesus. He can relieve all of this and all of this and all of this and all of this. So every Sunday I'm like, come on, man. Am I not saying it right? Did I say it wrong? Did I do something wrong this week that I forgot to ask forgiveness for?
Right.
Like, it was just this battle going on until 17 years old.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's very interesting because, like, you can't, as a kid, I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way, but a lot of times, we really are just allowing them to move through the motions, I think, because there isn't, I don't know that there can be a true understanding of, we want them to know that when something happens, there is a place that they can run and that, church, like, that's your family and all of those things, and they're true. But I think it's very interesting that you could truly understand that I was going through the motions and doing the things, but I wasn't actually living that until you were 17.
That's right.
That's a very, I don't know that some people ever come to that realization.
Oh, for me, it was, like I said, the minute I got saved, I knew I'd been doing it wrong the rest of the time because I felt the Holy Spirit. I felt the presence. I knew for sure that I was being baptized in the Holy Spirit right now in this moment in the middle of a DC Talk concert.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the emotions of the concert. And it wasn't, the thrill that you get when everybody's jumping up with their hands waved in the air. It wasn't that. This was something completely different. And so then I knew that all those other times it wasn't a working situation.
But what a testament to you to not get like mad, angry, disappointed.
Oh, I was super disappointed.
Let down, but it didn't stop you
No.
from asking over and over and over.
And you didn't leave. You didn't leave the church. You didn't leave the life that you had been, taught to live. You just kept going.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
College, I got real sidetracked, so we'll get there.
Well,
Didn't we all?
We all have been a little sidetracked at that point in life.
But then again, there was Jesus all over again, just waiting to scoop me back up and say, look, girl, dust yourself off. It's time to go again.
Don't matter how far you've run, come on home.
Yeah, I was definitely the prodigal and just grateful for the Father's arms open.
And that was after you were saved.
Oh, yeah.
Because you saved at 17. Okay. And then
college.
This is on my screen right now. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. And it's such a, I guess I don't know the word. There's a fancy word, but it's like you had said, you are brokenhearted and you're going through these things. And he didn't feel close, but then when you look back, you're like, no, he was there the whole time.
He was there the whole time.
Been really, protecting. I've seen this
from the very beginning with my grandparents, making sure that we were going to this little tiny Baptist church that had a bus route because my mom wasn't going to take us.
Yeah.
My grandparents coming from South Carolina to Michigan to find this church, to set up the bus route, that was God's providence when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I look back and see that. At the time, I didn't see it, obviously.
Now, is this the same grandmother that's still in South Carolina? Yeah.
She's been there my whole life. Same house.
So what now? How do you carry this on? How has it affected your family, your children, your marriage, the people around you? Does it at all? Or
I will say when the kids were little, it affected me a lot more. We never went to water parks. We didn't. If we went to the park, I would only take 2 children at one time because I could keep an eye on them if they were together. But if I took my third one might get out of my sight. So it made me a really diligent, probably super overprotective parent. But my kids are in their 20s and they've never been molested. So I feel like I've managed,
Praise God for that.
God, even in my paranoia and tight-fistedness around my children. He was protecting them the whole time also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think that to speak into some of the things, learning about Dominic and Dakota, and some of our very first conversations, because we're raising boys that are, now entering into their teen years.
Mhm.
And we share very similar situations or takes on dating.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, my kids always dated to marry.
Mhm.
We didn't casually date.
Nope.
Didn't allow it. Didn't
do
support that. Like, we were dating to marry.
Destiny dated 2 boys. She dated a boy named Ben for a year. They decided that they were not going to grow up and get married, so they split. And then the second boy she dated, she's married to, and they live in Denver. And then Dominic dated 3 girls in school and is marrying the 4th one.
Yeah.
And then Dakota really only had 2 serious girlfriends in high school, and one of them he's married to now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were not going to play with emotions or feelings, or if the youth group's going somewhere and you want to go with the youth group on a date with the girl in the youth group that you like, that's fine.
Right.
But we're dating because we want to get married one day and have a family. So you need to be picking attributes out of these girls. What's going to make her a good wife one day?
Yeah, because we've talked about, dating, kind of a carousel kind of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's just practicing for divorce.
Yeah.
That's all that is teaching you.
We did courtship. I feel like we really pushed closer to courtship. Like, you're dating this girl to get to know her and her family and determine whether she's somebody you want to invite into your family.
Yep.
That's the only reason.
I need to be sitting here taking some notes because this is very muddy water for me. I don't.
You got a couple more years.
Yeah, I do. I have a teenager, a fresh teenager. He's just turned 13, same as yours.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, because, the world kind of tells us that, they're young, they want to have fun, and I don't want to take any parts of childhood. Not that they need to be going out sleeping with any, that's not what I mean. But, just like casually dating, casually going places with people. But my oldest, though, my fresh teenager, he's like more mature than me in a lot of ways. Because he told me a couple of years ago, a family is always like, y'all got any girlfriends? They're like in like 3rd grade. Y'all got any girlfriends?
The infamous family reunion question.
Yeah. And my oldest was like, no, why would I want to date someone for, I'd only want to date somebody when I think I'm going to get married. Other than that, I don't have it. I was like,
I love that kid.
Attaboy.
I was like, wow, okay, that's it. I like that.
But that's a testament to you and Matt too. You have to know that that's a testament to you and Matt. It is.
There's what's really funny, and I've told you guys this before. He said that seems expensive.
It is. It is.
Yep.
So that might have come from me, but other than that, I don't know that
my
the
daughter
rest of it
knew she better never pay for anything, and my boys know you better pay for everything. Bottom
Yes.
line.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I totally agree. I just think it's interesting, the things that I love that you had those, I like when there's we have these ideals, these boundaries, these rules, this is how our family lives.
Right.
I think that's really powerful for everybody, for the kids, for the parents, for the marriage, for the, we have these hard lines, and it makes things so much easier. But I don't think they're easy to set up because you don't realize all of the things. This is what I want. This is what I like.
I don't know. I feel like we were kind of building into it all their lives.
Yeah.
So Dominic. I'll just use Dominic or Dakota. Let's use Dakota because he had more girlfriends in elementary school. We recognized that those were girlfriends, but we also recognized you're not going to grow up and marry Annabelle Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, Dakota, you guys are in 3rd grade.
Right.
So, yes, you guys can play together on the playground. She's welcome to come over and play, whatever. But you guys are never going anywhere.
Right.
There will be no dating. I'm not taking you to the movies. Even if I'm sitting with you, we're not doing, you're in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And so we built out of those miniature relationships from elementary school, we were able to build out what your future should look like one day and how are you going to get there.
Yeah.
And
see,
it's not
that's
going to be dating all the girls in third grade.
Right.
That
Right,
doesn't
yeah.
get you where you want to go.
No, and I've already told Maddox several times, look, there are things that we're going to do. Like, if there's someone that you're interested in, if they go to our church, great. That makes things super easy. Either way, we're taking our girlfriends to church. We're not taking them to our bedroom. Like,
oh yeah, no.
these are hard and fast rules that I have. And he already knows, so that I'm not springing this on him at 16 when he has a driver's license. He knows now at 13 that when he does have a driver's license, we will be using the 1/3 rule.
Mm-hmm.
So between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one of those days is going to be spent with your family. One of those days is spent with your friends. One of those days is spent with your girlfriends or with your girlfriend, because we're not going to sacrifice time with our friends to spend it all with our girlfriend.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, if there's some overlap, that's okay.
Sure.
But he already knows, hey, we're doing this 1/3 rule thing. Don't ask me about it when you turn 16. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it goes. If there can be a little bit more give or take in one area or whatever, a vacation, summertime, that sort of stuff. But that's going to be it.
Right.
So you're not surprised when you start driving and I tell you, okay, well, which one are you going to spend, with us as a family? Which one are you going to hang out with your buddies? And which one your girlfriend?
Yeah.
So
I think it's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Well-
I know you guys are doing, you guys seem to have the same, you have the same thing that you're wanting to build and create with your boys. And I love that.
And look, it's not that they haven't had their spats and quarrels.
Oh, gosh.
And we've told them, you don't have to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're not forcing you to be friends.
But
We're
gonna be
going
friends.
to be friends.
It'd just be a lot easier on y'all if y'all would just be friends.
And let me tell you, we have watched it firsthand, the concept of apologizing and forgiving. We've watched it amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, thankfully, knock on wood, I don't think we've ever had to issue apologies to one another,
Nah.
but we have watched them carry it out and do it well.
Really well.
Yeah.
Well, and how powerful is it that when you do have families that align so well with what you want to create and build and the type of family that you want to be, to have another family for, they may not have been, great friends if you hadn't, but now they have somebody that's like, yeah, no, I can't do that either.
Right.
How wonderful is that?
Yep.
That to have those
Accountability
things.
partners.
It's like
Yes.
the Duggars and the Bates.
Yeah, like that went south. We don't want to use that. But yeah, I mean, how great is it to have, because I know, I remember. And actually, one of my friends has stuck it out way longer with a cell phone. She's like, no, he's in high school and he still doesn't have a cell phone. And he's like, Mom, I'm literally the only one. I'm the Lone Ranger.
That will be me.
And he is truly the Lone Ranger. And so with some, of course, it's always going to turn out that way with some rules and things. But it's nice to have somebody.
I would
who
say
is
Walker probably has
well-aligned.
more freedom online and things like that than Maddox does. But when Walker's with Maddox, Walker puts his stuff up too.
Yeah.
Because whatever rules exist at Laura's house exist at Laura's house when my child is here also. So
And he gives no lip, no disrespect.
Love it.
When you come in here, put your phone on the island. Y'all go play. Of course, you can come check it anytime.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we're not taking it into a bedroom.
Nope.
We're not going to bring it down here and play video games and have a phone amongst us. It's going to stay on the island. You come get it anytime.
Yeah.
When you're swimming, you don't need it.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
And he's totally fine with it.
Sure.
But of course, Maddox is like, well, Walker has a phone. I'm like,
Yep.
that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not Walker's mom. If Miss Cyndy thinks that he's mature enough to have a phone, that's her decision.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think that you're
Just so you know, she doesn't. She
Not
does
mature.
not think he is mature enough. She thinks that she can monitor it well enough
yeah.
and it will be okay. But
Mine has a phone. No, we're no judgment. No judgment here.
I know I'm the outcast.
But I check it regularly. I go through his He has Instagram. That's the only social media he's allowed to have. And that's because River Point Youth and everything, all that
Yes.
information goes out on social. How are we going to tell our kids not to have social media when...
I know.
I
I feel
that's how
bad
the church communicates with them.
Yes.
when Maddox is like, I can't play. What is it? Kazoo
Yes,
or whatever?
Yeah, Kahoot.
Kahoot.
Yes.
I'm like, sorry.
Yep, I know.
If
I
it's
know
because you
there's-
miss out on a $25 Chick-fil-A gift card,
Mom's got it.
I
Yeah,
got
we
you.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of switching gears, I feel like you could preach a sermon on some forgiveness now.
I probably could. It probably wouldn't be a very good sermon because I don't believe in women pastors. So I would. It'd be very short-lived. I will say this. I struggled with forgiveness horribly. Horribly. It was an absolute refusal initially. Like, you can't make me. And then it was just very difficult. And then my grandma, who I absolutely adore, gave me this little word of wisdom, and it has carried me. I was under the impression that you forgive somebody and then you just move on. Like, you make me angry, I forgive you, and then we move on. I didn't recognize that with some pain, forgiveness is an ongoing process.
Every day.
My grandma told me,
70 times 7.
Cyndy, you may have to forgive your stepdad every day for the rest of your life.
Yep.
This may not be something that is a one and done for you. And I just kept feeling like a failure to that point. Like, I have forgiven him, and then today I'm angry about it again, and I don't forgive him very well. And then tomorrow I would be fine. And my grandma said, this is going to be one of those situations you're just going to have to wake up every day and make a conscious effort to forgive and then move on.
And that's not what you wanted to hear.
And that's not what I wanted to hear. But when I put it into practice, wow.
What a difference.
Wow.
We say on here a lot that we try to teach the kids to choose joy, and that's another way of choosing joy. You choose to be happy and to be joyful and grateful, and you choose to forgive every day, over and over and over again. Yeah, that's really powerful. I think that's a great point for anybody who feels that way. I'm sure, there's so many people, they may not have experienced what you have experienced, but there's something maybe in a marriage or a family or something where, you're going to have to do it every day. So I think that's really, really powerful.
And then I feel like once I realized that forgiveness isn't a single action, like it can be a long-term action also. And I wasn't failing. And that was my feeling, is I've forgiven, but I haven't forgiven, so I've failed. Jesus forgave implicitly, and so he did not fail. So I'm supposed to forgive the way he forgives, but I'm failing day after day after day. And so my grandma said that, and I was like, oh, I'm not failing. I'm doing this the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing it right.
Because if you don't, I mean, ultimately, you're putting yourself in the prison, because the person that you're mad at or unforgiving towards, they may not even know that you have like all of this resentment. They may, but they may not. And so they're just, going about, they're just going about things and not knowing that you're harboring everything and just punishing yourself.
That's the key right there. We talked about that in church several different times, especially with Pastor Mike when he was there at the church. I remember him talking about, there was one sermon that just kind of stuck with me. He was like, it is hurting no one except you.
No.
You're not hurting that person by not forgiving them. They don't even understand it. If they did, they may or may not care. But it is hurting you internally because you're carrying it around and it's heavy.
Yep.
But that person, they're not carrying your resentment.
Totally
Only you are carrying
unfazed.
it. Yeah. And
I realized that I was in true forgiveness the day that I prayed that God would save my stepfather's heart and that he would join us in heaven. Because I knew if God could change his heart, then he wouldn't molest any other kids. Like, that God had to do that, though. That I had nothing to do with it. My forgiveness certainly wasn't going to help him along his journey. And so when I started praying that God would save his soul and that he would truly repent because I wasn't the only victim. There were several other child victims that moms did not allow them to testify in court. So I know that there is the potential to be future victims, right? The best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So when I started praying that God would save him, I realized that that wasn't going to benefit me, but that might benefit the next little girl whose mom he dates or whatever. And that changed everything too, because I was no longer praying him out of heaven. I was praying his hate for the females that he would abuse to go away.
Yeah.
And then, so it was just, God's weird. God, he is so weird what he will do in the human brain to change your heart. It
is incredible.
But
And
he'll
the
do it.
fact that I've always been so puzzled or so shocked at the simple directions that are in the Bible as far as if this is going on, this is what you do. If you have an enemy, you pray for them.
Yeah.
It says it very
The
simply.
prescription is right there.
Yes. And I mean,
Even
it's
if
so
you don't want
obvious
to.
that you miss it.
Mhm.
It's so obvious that you miss it. I was reading, it was in Old Testament maybe it was a Psalm. Anyway, because the Bible plan I'm on like skips around right now.
Old Testament, your favorite.
Yeah. I finally
Numbers is a blast.
Yeah.
Whew. I got through if you can get through those first like 4 chapters, it does start to get better. Like I'm reading through David's story right now. I'm not catching everything, but this is my first rodeo going through the whole thing.
Is it really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Well, technically second because I failed the first time. So I'm trying again, and I've made it further than I ever have. So truly,
What
it's my
program are
first.
you using?
It's the one at church. So it's
Okay.
through the Bible app.
What's it called?
It's Bible, and then this one is I don't know. I can't remember the name of the actual plan, but it's Old Testament, New Testament,
And then a Psalm or Proverb.
and then a Psalm or Proverb.
That's the way Erica Kirk's is set up. I do Erica Kirk's
Oh,
Bible in a year.
yeah.
It's the
Okay,
same thing. Old Testament, New Testament, Psalm or Proverb.
We
Yeah.
believe.
we believe. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, and that's on the Bible app. So I think it was either in a Psalm or a Proverb. It said, "If you are sick, have the elders of the church pray over you." And I was like, "Well, that's very simple."
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
so
over here
simple
down in
and simple.
elderberry when I just need the elders.
Yeah, like it's just amazing, what you find and what jumps out at you as you continue to read and go on. So, but yeah, I think that I said all that to say that the fact that you can get to that point in forgiveness and do truly what the word says of pray for that person, pray for your enemies, that is, you're there. You're there.
Yeah, because what are we talking? You can't be anxious and praise
Grateful
at the same time.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Mm.
look, now I have had some pouty prayers over enemies, if you will. Like I don't want to.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
But I know that I need to.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But I need you to know I'm doing it reluctantly.
Yeah.
I mean, and me and God,
He knows that.
yeah, I'm very
He's
Joseph.
aware.
We wrestle.
Yeah.
Okay, me and God, we wrestle. It's probably why my hips hurt all the time.
He's aware.
We wrestle.
Yep. So we talk on this show a lot about teaching or telling our kids the truth.
Mhm.
How, as your kids were growing up and are growing up, how truthful are you
About
with-
my past?
about just even this thing in general? Like, I know my kids will say, why can't we do this?
Or is
Why
is there
can't we?
there a reason
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're this way?
I feel like all of my kids know virtually everything about my past. My drug abuse, my being molested, the
Walker
DUI
knows as well.
I got in 2008, going through a terrible divorce. I mean, I don't shield my kids from a lot of from really anything.
Mhm.
I feel like knowledge is power in any given
Amen.
situation,
Yep.
any situation. And so when they were little, they didn't know why we didn't go to the water park.
Yeah.
We just didn't go. We
Mhm.
just, if I was a pedophile, that's exactly where I'd hang out, where a bunch
Where all
of
the
kids
kids
are
are.
running around half naked. Parents don't know which kids where. This is a
Prime
nest
spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
no, we were not going to participate in that. The kids didn't know why. When I married Bobby, now I got 4 eyes.
Mhm.
Now we can go to the water park.
Mhm.
And I think my kids probably just associate Bobby coming into our lives with their lives just going so much better because it wasn't all on me anymore.
Right.
I didn't have to be everything to everybody all of the time. I could share some of that with my husband. And he was very proactive. He's like, look, let's go to the water park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your kids deserve that opportunity. They shouldn't be sheltered from the water park because of your fears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. We'll make sure that everything's fine. And so I think my kids look at my husband and they're like, man, our lives changed when Bobby came around. And they don't realize that it wasn't Bobby. It was I could change because he was there.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, and only if you feel comfortable, how has this affected marriage? How has your past, good, bad, all of the things, do you feel like you can have a very strong, open marriage through this? Were you able to kind of get?
Yes.
Obviously, you got through it, but I'm sure it was a difficult road.
Well, Bobby is my 5th husband.
Okay.
So going to the Baptist church that I went to, if
Mhm.
you were going to have sex with somebody, you had to marry them.
Right.
So I've been married 5 times because every time I had sex with somebody, we had to get married.
Mm.
So, I mean, I'm probably not the best poster child for divorce, but I will say I left all 4 of those marriages due to infidelity.
Mhm.
So I feel, I don't know where everybody stands on divorce, but I do feel like I am forgiven because those husbands were out doing things that could have harmed me physically as
Yeah.
well as my nonetheless, I grieve the divorces. I
Mhm.
don't grieve the experiences because the kids were products of these and I'll always be grateful
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
So I'm sad that I had to be divorced 4 times. That really does make me sad. But in that, I found the love of my life, and
Mhm.
I'm now with him, and we're raising my 3, who he has adopted, and our 1
Oh, I
together.
love it.
So all of my kids have his last name. We're all Hollands. Well, except for Destiny, who went off and got married.
Yeah.
But
But she was briefly, right?
she was a Holland
Yeah.
all the way through school. Yeah. So I still struggle with some things from childhood that are personal between me and God that he is really working on me with, like my appearances, things like that. God's working on the
Right.
superficial things that he needs to work on. But I feel like in my marriage, Bobby he knows everything. I've told him everything.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, as my husband, he would love to drive to Michigan,
Yeah.
terminate the issue, and then
Yeah.
let me move on with my life.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that
Yeah.
because, we have a kid to raise and he doesn't look good in orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Not many people do.
but he has been a huge advocate for me where my other ex-husbands didn't know everything. They didn't, they were short-lived marriages that resulted in children.
Right.
But Bobby knows everything. And Bobby loves me right through it.
I
He
love it.
knows when I'm having a bad day that it probably has something to do with a residual feeling that I'm going through. Or maybe he said something to me, smart alecky or whatever, and I took it differently than what he intended
Mhm.
because of, but he's learned to navigate me.
Yeah.
And I've learned to just be brutally honest with him. When
Yeah.
he says something that hurts my feelings, I can't just sit there and act like everything's fine or
Mhm.
or be mad at him but not tell him why, which
Right.
is something I was
Yeah.
really notorious for, was just cold shouldering him and just, well, what's wrong with you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, wife, I can see there's something wrong with you. What's wrong? Nothing, I'm fine.
Yeah.
When I got raw and honest with Bobby, he reciprocated with gentle, calm grace.
Mm.
And so
Praise the Lord.
I can be very raw with him, and he loves me right through it.
He's your Superman.
He is.
Well, and I'll tell you, I so appreciate your honesty and being raw with us even too, because once you do start digging into the Bible, you find that what culture says that we shouldn't do, that, divorce it, we judge divorce and we do all of these things. Those stories in there that are recorded, there's not one of them that's perfect. And not,
No.
and the reason they're in there is because they teach and they they can form people. They can inform for the future. They're helpful. They're honest. We are human. We are not God. We are not Jesus. And so all of that is displayed and shown in the Word.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
for us to hold ourselves to a high standard like that is only a cultural judgment.
Agreed.
And not what He expects from us.
Yeah.
Or the way we don't judge ourselves the way that He judges us.
Well, and I feel like the woman at the well, okay, that's me. I'm the adulteress for 4 marriages and then finally a solid marriage. The woman with the issue of blood, like I'm constantly that girl that just wants to touch the hem of his garment because even at 5, I knew if I could ever just get a hold of that garment, he would fix it.
Yeah.
I just need you to fix it all the time. I have that painting up on my
In
wall
your
in my
wall
office.
at the office. Yep.
Yeah, the hem of the garment. Like there are so many biblical stories that I feel like truly resonate with me.
Yeah.
Like God purposely put those stories in that book so that Cyndy Holland would read it one day and know that He loves me the same way He loved the woman at the well.
Yep.
And He loves me the same way as He loves the woman with the issue of blood. And although I do not have an issue of blood, I have issues. And I'm constantly trying to reach His hem.
Yeah.
And so God put those in there purposely for me.
And now He's brought us all together so that you can share those things with more people and make them understand that too. So thank you for that.
Anytime.
Yeah. And and I know that you have, but I feel the same way that there were things that I did not realize until I read it cover to cover.
Yes.
And I was like, "Ugh," because this is not one of like the more popular stories or whatever.
Right.
And just reading it, almost casually, like, that's me.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that was in here
Mm-hmm.
because I've never heard a sermon preached on it.
Yep.
Right.
Or, whatever. But
And when you read the stories as a whole, you're like, okay, what? Like
total change of perspective.
Yeah. And not only, but, and I'm like kind of judging these people. I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah.
Why? But that's the whole point is to tell the whole story.
Yep.
Right.
So, yes, it's just amazing.
It is. And I've told you before, like, we all know what the refrigerator verses are,
Mm-hmm.
but like reading the context up to that point
And then beyond
and
that
then
point,
beyond it
Yes.
totally changes the verse
totally
Mhm.
does.
for me. And maybe not in
Oh,
all of
yeah.
them, but in some of them, I'm like, I have totally analyzed that the wrong way.
Right. Or
for
I
a
was
decade.
reading that like it applied to me, but Jesus wasn't applying that to me. He was applying that to the Holy Spirit or whatever. Like the Proverbs 31 woman.
That's
Total
Amanda's
fake.
favorite.
She doesn't exist.
Okay,
This
she
is
does
the
not
idyllic-
exist.
It's the idyllic. I'm never going to meet the idyllic, and I have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yes.
But I do love.
But I grew up believing that she was a true person and that if you were a good wife, you would meet all of these attributes. And then to read the Bible in its entirety one day and go, oh, wait,
Oh, yes.
this
that is
lady
very
doesn't
true.
even exist.
Not
This
even
is-
in the women that are here in
No,
the Bible.
they're not even. This woman is nowhere to be found in
Yes.
here. Okay. Well, I can
Yes.
take that load off and I can try to meet all of them that I can meet.
Yep.
I'm not going to get up before the sun comes up and spin a spindle. That's just not,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I totally agree with that. I do love the,
I love the hope.
I
that
love the hope, and I love the fact that you can be, I struggle with being the home woman, the mother, and also creating, doing, and providing,
Mhm.
whether it be for jobs for other families or for my own family, and both. And so to see a story there where it is allowed, comes together beautifully,
Mhm.
that I love.
Sure.
I resonate well with that. That was one of the ones that was written for me and
get it.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? But to think every one of those boxes has to be checked, absolutely not. You're totally right.
I did a Bible study in high school called Far Above Rubies, and it was based on the Proverbs 31 woman. And it was, I swear, and I can't go back to being 16 again and do it over, but in my brain while doing that, I was being told that these are the requirements of a good, godly Christian woman. It wasn't like, oh, you have the ability Or you could be these things, or why don't you cherry pick a few of them that you really like and do those? It was like you had to do all of them. And I was like, well, she can be far above rubies, but I'm going to sit down here with a topaz, I reckon, because I'm never going to meet that.
No,
and so I feel like maybe it was just a poorly written Bible study, or maybe it was poor interpretation of the 16-year-old brain. But
isn't it funny how when you go back to things, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
They say that hindsight vision is 20/20.
Yep. Well, okay. Do you have other questions or some other things you would like to talk about?
Is there anything else that you want to cover or relay to anybody else that's listening that we may have skipped over or left off?
I would just say, ask your kids questions.
Yeah.
Moms, ask your kids questions. Make sure they know the anatomical parts of their body, not your flower version of her hoo-ha or whatever. Make sure they're anatomically correct. That was pivotal when I had to go to the doctor, and the doctor was asking questions, and I could use literal verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
And one doctor might not call it a flower. Maybe they call it a daisy. Well, now all this confusion is taking place. So, and ask your kids questions. And I'll be honest, I was groomed so well that even though my mom would ask me, has anybody touched you inappropriately? I would say no, because in my brain, this wasn't inappropriate. I had been groomed well enough to believe this was what all dads and daughters were out there doing.
No.
So pointed questions.
Yeah.
Pointed questions. Has anybody ever touched you inappropriately? Unacceptable question. Kids don't know.
Yeah.
Has daddy ever touched you in your private area? Okay, now we have a dialogue.
Right.
Because I can answer that.
Right.
So I would say those things are so important for moms. And don't ever assume it's not going to be your kid.
Yeah.
Boy, girl, it's irrelevant.
Yep.
My sons went to school with a boy who was molested by his teacher at the 9th grade academy right here in Habersham County.
Yes.
So it's happening all over. It's not just teachers, especially with boys here lately. Mm-hmm. It's cross country. It's every state.
Yeah.
It matters not if it's a red state or a blue state. This is happening everywhere.
Which you better believe when Holt came home from camp, that was one of the first things that I asked.
Mm-hmm.
Said, did you, I asked him, I said, did anybody see you naked? Mm-hmm. Because, that's the first time that he's ever stayed overnight, and he's responsible for going and taking his own shower, brushing his own teeth. I said, did anybody see you naked? And he was like, no, Mom, they're not allowed to. And let me tell you, he would sing like a bird. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would. But he was like, no, they're not allowed to. We have our privacy. And I was like, good.
Yeah. Good talk.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yep.
So, and same with Maddox, of course. And he's like, no, Mom.
Yeah.
But of course, Toby and Katie that run Camp Evergreen.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, knock on wood, such a great experience. I think that they really do their homework with who the camp counselors are.
I do too.
And so that is a burden lifted, dropping them off.
Sure.
But you're right. You never know.
You don't know. And I mean, I see a lot too online right now about like public bathrooms even, like. You
see like the GBI thing that's circulating about the locations kind of around.
No, I haven't seen that.
It has been, I think there was one in Jefferson, several in Gwinnett County. I'll send it to you because that's it. I mean, it's exactly that, like inappropriate hiding of cameras in public bathrooms,
which has always been a thing. It's just, but I was kind of taught to look for those things. Yeah. I knew, and they talk about it in school sometimes, and and although it makes you as a kid, like, oh my God, okay. But then God forbid, that it happens and that they're afraid to speak up and that they don't know that it's wrong. And so the conversations are uncomfortable and we hate them. Everyone hates them, but they have to be had.
Yeah.
And, I've told my boys straight up too. I'm like, this is why we have to have this conversation. This is what can happen. This is what has happened. So if this is ever seeming like it's going to happen or could happen, or you get a weird feeling, get out of there, man.
Well, that was one thing. I hated the good touch, bad touch program that they put into the schools. This is a good touch. This is a bad touch. There are no good touches. Right. Don't touch my child.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason any adult other than myself should ever touch my child. There is no good touch.
Which is, why we say all the time, keep your hands to yourself, keep your hands to yourself.
Well, I do. It's a hard line though too, because there's, I trained to be a sub, and you're not even supposed to like hug the children. And like some kids just love that,
and they will come up to you and embrace you.
And they do.
And what does that look like when you're like,
get off me, kid?
I know. But there's also women teachers and men teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different, there's just all these things. So just being open, honest, talking to them, asking questions. I love that, because it really just kind of nips it in the bud. Like, hey, I'm not waiting on you to say something, on the teacher to be, flagged, or, we're going to take care of this.
Going to be proactive about it.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. Like, if your child doesn't want to sit in their grandpa's lap, there might be something weird going on there or whatever. But grooming looks very different for different kids.
Yes.
I always wanted to be with my stepdad. Always. If he was going somewhere, I wanted to go. I was his prized possession. I got all the special treatment. Of course, I was being molested the whole time. But in my 9-year-old brain, everything was normal. This is just normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so the warning signs that psychologists or psychiatrists or whatever tell you to look out for, I don't feel like are, because if you'd have seen me and my stepdad, you would have been like, oh, that's just a stepdaughter who loves her stepdad so much.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was groomed. I didn't love him that much. I didn't, it was all psychological warfare.
Well, and as a child, you're receiving attention,
Mm-hmm.
period. Whether it's good or bad, maybe that doesn't, it's not
I don't
really,
think it really matters in
Right.
childhood. Attention is attention.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all right. Are we ready to wrap it up?
Ready to land the plane?
Land the plane?
Let's land the
Let's
plane.
land the
Let's land the plane. All right, let's do it. We hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation. We are so appreciative to you, Cyndy, for just coming here, talking to us, being so open and honest. We really, really appreciate you
Anytime.
and your time and your honesty. I feel like, we've had a couple of heavy episodes with a lot of truth, and I think that's really what matters and why we started doing this in the first place, because there's conversations that need to be had. There's things that need to be said. There's things that we're all going through that, you're not exactly sitting at brunch, chit-chatting,
Right.
with the church ladies about, but it needs to be said. So we hope that you guys enjoy this episode. We hope that you're enjoying this content. We so appreciate you guys. And as you know, we have a goal this year to hit 10,000 subs on YouTube. So we're about halfway through the year. I don't think we're close. So we need a little help.
Not yet, but won't he do it?
Yes. Yeah. So, also, as you know, we do none of this without our amazing producer, Stay Stoked Creative Co. You can find more about him in the show notes below. And if you ever have any questions, if you ever want to have a conversation with your kiddos, but you need a little help, a little starter, please feel free to always reach out to us. Laura and I have personal social media, as well as we have our Moms on a Mission social media. You can always shoot us a message. We'd be happy to have conversations with you about those things.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you, Cyndy, for being with us. This was a great episode. And
Yes. Thank you. I love you.
Yes.
Love you too.
We will see you guys in the next one.
Be blessed.